Halloween
Forever.
You know what's sick? Have you guys ever get stoned in a bog before?
No.
Oh, it's pretty sweet. I call it a marshmallow.
You fucked that up so bad.
Minisode of Halloween is forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
As Big Woof.
Swing and a miss, boys and ghouls. Swing and a miss from the champ. You know what?
How do you feel having the belt in your hands?
I don't even care because the champ is here. The champ is in charge. The champ, you know what?
You're not the boss of me, bro.
I am officially the boss of you.
Yo.
Until somebody else takes the belt out of my cold, dead hands.
Coming
For
at
those
you.
of you who did not listen to last week's Showdown episode, the belt's back where it's supposed to be, back in the hands of the once and future champ. And for your insolence, I have decided to punish you accordingly.
You know, I want to be very clear. Like,
yes.
every time I've won,
Right.
I give you guys fun movies to watch.
And
every time
do
you
not
win-
give us fun movies. Would you like to go back through our episodes, Meg? You're the one who
I've given you
suggested
Ari
something
Aster
strange
one.
about the Johnsons or whatever.
Yeah.
All your movies are incest. Yeah.
Whatever. You know,
Drink
you guys
your
liked it.
Bush Apple, Meg, and just
Hey, please don't talk shit on Bush Apple. It is so
I'm talking
fucking good.
all the
It's
shit on
so
Bush
good.
Apple. It's not good. You should be ashamed for even saying it.
You know what? Next episode, actually, next time we record in person, I am for sure going to bring some Bush Apple
Ugh.
and make
Yeah.
you shotgun one with me.
I won't. I won't. I will go get myself a fucking Hams like a true American.
I am 30 or 40 years old and I do not need this.
You don't even know.
I am somewhere between the ages of 30 and 40 years old, and I will not be taking part in this.
You will, and you will like it, and you will not say no.
Our creatures from the deep. I'm envisioning that you performing some sort of approach similar to the monster in this movie that we're going to talk about,
Maybe.
where you infuse me with Bush Apple.
Probably. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna do is the next time I win, which will probably be next month, is I'm just gonna make you guys drink that beer.
That's the punishment.
That'll
The
be my
punishments
revenge.
start to become physical.
I mean, we've already established
And
that
it's-
I am a fucking very sadistic,
At some point, you're cutting our fingers off with tin snips. It's only a matter of time.
going definitely hostile.
Well, when that happens, it happens. But for right now, you boys in charge. You boys dealing out punishments here. I took Steve's topic, which was, of course, creatures from the deep, and I just freaking volleyed it right back at you guys, and just took it home in our 1 year anniversary episode. And because of both of your ongoing consistent insolence, I have decided to pick a little flick, which some of you may be familiar of, maybe not. A little flick from, I believe, what the fuck was it, 73? Was that
Nine.
accurate?
I thought
79?
Yeah, it was 79,
It
yeah.
seems like it's from 63, but it's actually from 79.
Yeah.
And it is called The Bog, or actually just Bog. There is no
It's
the.
it's
just-
bog.
it's just
with
bog.
quotation marks for some fucking reason.
It is. Oh,
But it
what
even
a
ended in
gem.
quote or like even question marks. So this whole
Yeah.
thing is just a bunch of punctuation.
Yeah.
That's this entire movie.
Yeah, they definitely stole the blob. Because the blob is, of course, famous for the little question. The little question mark at the end, and this definitely ripped that off. But it ain't that good, and it don't have a Steve McQueen in it. It's
This
got a bunch
movie-
of geriatric fucks who
Yeah.
suck at acting.
This movie really is like an amalgamation of like the worst parts of a lot of other films.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it takes the worst parts of Zat and the worst parts of the giant spider invasion, and it just like pushes them all together and then removes the monster.
And then when the monster comes, boy howdy, is it worth the wait?
It's far less horrifying than the old people sex.
You know, I'm like a short, tiny person over here, and I probably could have beat the fuck out of that fucking monster.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a guy in a rubber suit that really resembled like a dinosaur sock puppet with like crayfish claws. We'll get into it, guys. Come on, no spoilers here. We are going to talk about Bog from 1979. This was my punishment episode that I am, in fact, inflicting upon these two insolent peasants this afternoon.
I'll say it did feel like a punishment for sure, but it wasn't so much a punishment in the way of like we had to watch like a really bad movie that like did psychic damage. This movie is just so boring. It felt like you sent us to the penalty box.
Yeah. But it does have a couple of really good lines that made it worth it.
Oh yeah,
which we'll get into here in a few moments. It is mildly entertaining. This is definitely a movie, though, you watch on the old iPad and you hit that old fast forward 10 seconds thing quite a few times.
The entire movie, though.
They do this a number of times. Listen, wait, we'll get into it, guys. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We got other things to discuss.
We just want to get it done and over with.
I know. No, you need to sit in it. Sit in your dirty pee pants and deal with it.
I'm still sitting in my pee pants.
So let me remind you that if you do want to help us to choose our Showdown episodes in the future, or you just want to get some spooky ooky news and silly stuff about the show and just dumb spooky ooky posts on the interwebs, go follow us on social medias. It's at Halloween is Forever on Instagram, Halloween is Forever podcast on Facebook, at Hallow Forever on Twitter, Halloween is Forever pod on the TikTokies, and Halloween is Forever pod at gmail.com on them social media, or I'm sorry, on them Gmailies if you want to send us one of them old-fashioned emails. But we are still pursuing 10,000 followers on the Instagrams. So we're getting closer. Hit us up, follow us. All right. And as always, if you do give us a little review on one of your podcatcher apps, like your Apple Podcasts or your Spotify's, go ahead and give us a 5-star, whatever the maximum number of stars is. Send us a little bit of review. Yeah. And if you don't give us the maximum amount of stars, I'm going to fight you. Physically fight you.
This podcast is getting very violent these days.
If you do,
we're threatening a lot of people.
Yes, we are known for threatening our audience with physical and emotional harm. I will do that,
Brian. That's like pretty much.
That's also true. We have a very toxic relationship where Meg threatens to weaponize media, poison us, beat us, do terrible things, mutilate our bodies. But if you review us on one of those outlets, screenshot it, send us to the DMs, and I'll send you some fucking stickers, you bums. Come on. Stop being assholes about it.
I think we need more gifts, like koozies or something.
Koozies? Ooh, koozies is actually a good idea. I didn't think about that. I do like a koozie.
Cheap.
I do like a koozie.
Who likes koozies? Tell us if you like koozies.
How you feel about koozies? I'm a koozie guy. Koozie guy from way back. All right. Also, a couple other reminders. If you have been listening to recent episodes, you will already know this, and I'm sure I've already made arrangements. And if you have not, again, buck the fuck up. Get your situation sorted. On June the 25th, which is a Saturday, coming up pretty darn soon, in the year of our Lord 2022, we are doing our first ever live show at Hop Farm Brewing Company in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we are going to do a release party of a pretty sweet beer that Meg brewed with a bunch of other rad female brewers in the greater Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania area. It's called May Queen. It's got a bunch of kind of cool special ingredients, as well as themed around Midsommar, the movie, the Ari Aster flick. So we're going to talk about that movie. Come going to show a couple clips. We're going to taste some stupid jokes. We're going to play some games. We're going to drink some beers. We're probably going to smoke drugs. So come on down there. Come
high, please.
Come on down there. Come stoned as fuck. Show up.
If you're taking mushrooms, just bring extra for me. Thank you.
Yes. Psychedelics. We'll huff paint in the parking lot. right before the show, ether, whatever. We're getting fucking wild.
This is some Charlie Day shit that you're bringing into the fold, and I don't know if I'm here
We're
for
getting
it.
wild down there.
Do you have the grape smelly markers? Bring those down.
Bring those down. We'll huff them. We'll do whatever. We're fucking wilding out down there. No, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
We actually will have a table of all the things you can get fucked up off of.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Instead
huffing
of
gas in the parking lot.
Actually, here you guys. We're not gonna have a cookie table. We're gonna have a fucking get high table. All drugs.
We're gonna have model glue, gas.
Also, no, we're not doing gas. Gas is way too expensive.
We're huffing model glue.
Doing the glues.
We're dipping cigarettes in formaldehyde.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some arsenic cookies there too, so you know you get wild.
We're doing scissor.
That was a
we're
bad
gonna be
joke.
chugging codeine.
Oh yeah, let's do some fucking lean.
Let's get some fucking lean down here. We're
Bring
doing
your
all that
Jolly
stuff.
Ranchers.
The Hop Farm, folks, Hop Farm, really, really happy that we're telling everyone to bring all these illicit substances. Listen, that's your fault. You should never agree to have us, you
Right.
dumbasses.
Look, next year, Hop Farm will learn to brew a lemon lime Kolsch with Jolly Ranchers in it, and then we can just have lean on tap, ready to go. Add your own codeine.
This'll learn you, Hop Farm Brewing, for letting us come down and do a show at your place. You really fucked up this time.
A bunch of
all right.
degens.
We're going to bring a bunch of fucking degenerates down here. I'm going to have my shirt off. It's going to be fucking wild. All right. That'll be fun. Come down and visit us on June the 25th. Also, guys, we have another kind of super special surprising kind of thing we have planned here in the coming weeks. So you're gonna have to keep an eye on the podcatcher because this is going to be coming real darn soon. If you recall, several weeks ago, we did an episode on the recently released flick on Shudder called The Sadness. You guys remember that? Remember when we talked about The Sadness? The director, this was his feature-length directorial debut. Is that accurate for me to recall?
I think everyone, I feel like it was a cool group of people that it was a lot of people's first major, I think, feature film.
Yeah. Directed by a gentleman named Rob Jabaz, which if I'm saying that wrong, I will probably.
Jay is silent.
Is it?
No, I don't understand.
Anyway, guys, he's going to come on the show. Believe it or not, the director of The Sadness, which is all the rage in the horror circles right now. People are very excited about this film. It's a fucking trip if you have not watched it yet. We loved it. Yeah, he's agreed to come on the show as a guest, which is pretty sick. I believe from Taiwan is where he lives, so that's going to be awesome. In the next, one of these upcoming minisodes, we're going to have him on. It's going to be fucking rad. So tune in for that. We're very, very excited. And then we have actually a couple other folks that have agreed to be guests on the show too, which is going to be sick. So we're going to have some fun guests. And as we spiral towards the spooky season, shit's just gonna get fucking wet and wild and wacky out here. So keep tuning in because it's gonna be big spooky season for Halloween is Forever crew. So keep it up. All right. Do you have beers?
We got spears.
I have a couple beers.
Yeah.
What do you guys got?
I got something this fucking movie sucks, so I had to go.
So I went for a beer that fucking sucks.
Well, it doesn't suck, but it definitely goes extra.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Flying Dog.
Okay.
Their Super Hook, which is a high octane fruit punch sour.
What the fuck?
Sounds gross.
Was it in a clear bottle? Is that what I saw?
Yep.
That's
It's in a
fucking
clear bottle?
That
Yep.
is fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Weird.
Is it good?
It is 10% Tahitian treat.
Jesus.
Christ on a cracker.
Man, you're getting real red. You're going to get real red real fast.
Hell yeah.
Is it good? Like, what's in it? What fruit? What's the...
Fruit punch, Brian. Fruit punch.
Oh, it's like red flavored.
Yeah.
I see.
I said
Gotcha.
it's 10% Tahitian treat.
Oh, I didn't know what that meant. I thought there was like specific flavors, but no, it's
No.
just red flavored. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's red flavored, but 10%. Make you go zoom. It's fucking shitty blast off booze.
I had a really big mouthful of beer and you said that. I almost spit it on my computer. 10% make it go zoom. Yeah, that sounds awful. Godspeed to you. It sounds fucking disgusting.
It's great for right now.
It's great for what it's doing to my brain right now.
He's definitely medicating at this
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
In future, though, I would just... I should have just bought a Steel Reserve. Like, why?
I was gonna say, why just get a fucking blue Raz Steel Reserve. It's
No, but if you do that
fraction
though,
of the
you
price.
have to for sure like just tape it to your hand and make sure it's a 40 ounce. Like, actually, that would be a great episode if we played Edward 40 hands on the show.
Man. I felt like I was doing that yesterday. We had some wholesaler friends in town, and we just got after it yesterday. And these couple beers here today, this afternoon, are just getting me to a place of normality, I think.
Nice. We know those days.
I'm too old for this shit.
It's the Murdaugh hangover.
Yeah. What do you got, Meg?
So my life's a shit show today. I went to a baby shower and there was a bar within eyesight, and I felt for a while there that I'm like, I don't know if you're supposed to drink at baby showers, but then I decided that yes is the answer, actually.
I was like, is this a bad idea? Yes. Am I going to do it? Yeah.
So I was like, what's the classy drink to have here? And I had a mimosa, and then I just went to wine. So I left there having a nice little wine buzz, and it was good like that. And I felt saucy. So when I stopped, to get beer, I was like, I have beer here that's like good. And then I decided that I didn't want to do that today.
Yeah.
So I bought fucking Trulies.
Ooh, yeah.
Fucking drink it. It's like the it says dive into flavor. It's like their pool pack, and I don't have a pool nearby, but
you're diving into a pool of your own alcoholism. At least you didn't get Bush. If you would have, on the way home from getting drunk at a baby shower, stopped and bought Bush Apple, that would have been
I'm
tough
telling
pill
you
to
though
swallow.
that I almost bought it. I saw it. I was like, you can't.
Pretty
find
sure
it that
you also
often.
have to like buy Black and Milds if you do that.
Yeah.
Like if you're already buzzed and walk into a place and buy Bush Red Apple, you have to buy Black and Milds with that
and
too.
Grizz long cut. Put a big fucking chaw of it in while you're at it.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
So basically, what I'm saying is that I'm drinking for effect this afternoon.
It does seem to be
that. Best of luck, seriously, today. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, Brian can't
This
hold
one's
it.
like-
Brian
this
can't
one's
hold
like-
us down with bad movies. We'll just get lit instead and teach him a lesson.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I was in the process of cracking this here Von Trapp Pilsner. If you guys have had Von Trapp, they are pretty fantastic.
Haven't. I think Ben had them when he recorded, and I was just like, "Yo, bro, do you got an extra?" And he said,
he
"No."
did. Yeah.
Yeah, he brought them all to drink for himself.
He did.
Yep.
No sharing.
I grabbed the little variety pack when I was out east this week and drank myself a Vienna Lager, and now I'm moving on to the Beau Pills, which is also pretty yummy. They're not super fresh. That was my only complaint is the variety pack. There's no packed on date, so you don't know until you crack open the variety pack how old the beers are.
You know what?
They're
Here's
still
a
in
solution.
code.
Here's a solution.
Yeah,
Get tape or glue and just have it on you all the time.
just
Open it
crack
up
into it.
in the store
Yeah.
and be like, "Yo, bro," and then you tape it up and no one knows.
Yeah.
Nobody. How are they gonna know?
That's true. Or I could just steal it. And then who cares? I didn't spend any money on it. Anyway, but it's still good, but it's not super fresh. But again, it's not the beer's fault. It's the fact that it is all approaching its code date and was stored warm. But in any case, not too bad. Pretty tasty still. They make fantastic beers in general. So, okie dokie. Anything else we need to get into this motherfucking movie? Is that the next step here?
Nope.
Oh, what do we got to do?
It's time to spin the wheel.
Oh, fuck.
Spin
I always
that
forget.
wheel.
All right, so heading into year 2, I loaded the wheel. We had taken a lot of things off the wheel as we went through the year, but I've reloaded a lot of those things back on because especially ones that didn't win. And then some of the other ones I reloaded are like things we did, but like they're not, they're easily repeatable, like haunted houses. We can do haunted houses again.
Oh, totally.
But we're not going to do Hellraiser again.
No, true. Yes,
we're done.
Good
We're done
point.
with Hellraiser.
Are you sure? You don't want to go round 2 on Hellraiser?
I'm not saying those movies can't show up again.
Through, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those movies can't show up again on somewhere else, but I think we're not going to do another Hellraiser. We're probably not going to do Friday the 13th, but I think those are all on the table for other categories.
Sure.
And for that, the first one that is drawn by the wheel for starting July is horror remakes and reimaginations.
Oh, I like that.
Cool.
Remakes
that would fall
and
more into my realm. I feel like when I got into
yeah, that's a good one. That should be fun because I think the more I'm even just my brain's moving here right now, and it's like there's a lot of different directions you can get, because of course you can do like remakes of like classic franchises and movies and stuff, but then there's a lot of movies where the original film like kind of sucks, but then there was a remake that actually made it more famous.
thinking of right off the top of my head, I need to rewatch it, because I remember as a child being, or like high school, being so scared of it. It was like, was it House on Haunted Hill, where they did the remake with Liam Neeson and stuff? That was really good. I thought
the original's actually really good too.
Yeah, the original's pretty good, but then the remake had Bridget Wilson from Mortal Kombat, so
and that came out around the time as the remake wasn't it like the remake of The Haunting and the remake of House on Haunted Hill came out within like a few years span of one another, I think.
Yeah, I think one was 98 and the other was 99.
Yeah, I remember seeing them both in theater, and I always forget which is which in terms of the remakes, because the original film's very different in tone, but both really great. The remakes kind of just blend together in my brain. But.
Yeah, and also in this category, this satisfies like if you're thinking anything that was made in another country and got remade.
Good point.
So you can use that if you want. So it's kind of all encompassing. I mean, I know like. I would also say, even though we did it last year, like Candyman would fit into that because it's one of those crazy requel things. So it still had Tony Todd from the original, but it stands on its own. So
we also get good old Bobby Zombo's Halloween
if you want to.
I was just talking to a friend about this the other day.
But yeah, so next one. Fan flicks.
Oh, okay. We've touched on this in the past.
Yeah, we did one or two Friday the 13th fan flicks, but there's a lot more out there. I watched one for Hellraiser. That's it.
Sorry, I was gonna be like,
the quick pause. I watched one for Hellraiser.
Yep, that's the appropriate reaction.
All right. I didn't even know there was Hellraiser once. I mean, it stands to reason, but feels like there's definitely lower hanging fruit in terms of fan films. But I guess that's not the point with fan films. I the only fan films, I mean, I've definitely seen movies which I think could probably be categorized as fan films, but as far as like full on fan flicks of prominent franchises, I've probably only watched Halloween and Friday the 13th. But pretty much every major franchise probably has a couple at least.
I mean, those two are the easiest ones to recreate, just because of how easy the costuming is, and then also just like there's such a desire for a new Friday the 13th film. People just can't help themselves. So
right. There is, I feel like that one is the one that's the most, I don't know. I would be interested in that because I don't know a lot about them. So that would be something that I would have to delve into a little bit further because, fan flicks just not something that's typically on my radar a ton. So that would be a fun one to do. What is number 3?
Number 3 is favorite Hitchcock.
Oh, yeah.
This one definitely came up last year, but did not win.
I know.
But
yeah,
chance again.
I'm a big Hitchcock guy. Rear Window is one of my all-time favorite movies. I just watched Rope not that long ago, which is like kind of horror, kind of more psychological thriller kind of thing, suspense. But
so to that end, are we more willing to? Because I mean, most of his filmography is in that mystery thriller. Are we willing to just let those in, even though they're not horror?
I think so.
I'm into it.
I think you have to, or otherwise it really handcuffs his entire kind of catalog.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about time and place all the time, and even stuff that would like falls into that more thriller probably scared people at that point too. So,
I mean, The Birds are some. I mean that. I guess that's one of the ones that is more horror, but Rear Window has definitely got some really creepy moments. Yeah, so anything with murder, and anything macabre, I think makes sense. So we have, as a recap, horror remakes / reimaginations, fan flicks, and those kind of feel in the same realm. And then, of course, the Left Turn, which is one Mr. Alfred Hitchcock. So best of Hitchcock.
Although,
I feel like this is such an interesting lineup, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, and it's like
there's no clear one that I'm like, fuck yeah, that's gonna win. You know what I mean?
We haven't done these categories either, so it'll be new in that way. But remember, Brian and Meg, that Psycho is up for grabs twice.
There's remakes as well as obviously a Hitchcock film,
and it might it might be up 3 times. I haven't looked for a Psycho fan film, but
I guarantee there's one. You're right.
Yeah.
I imagine we could probably do some sort of Psycho thing in all of these. Why am I blanking on the name of the fucking tall guy who's in like Wedding Crashers and stuff? Vince Vaughn. Yeah, Vince Vaughn in the remake. But there is another movie that might fall. Wasn't there another Psycho remake?
Not that I recall.
Like
there were
recent years?
There's a TV show.
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Wait, probably what I'm thinking
Bates
of. Motel one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bates Motel. Thank you. Which I've never watched.
I've watched
but many
some,
people have said
like
it's
creepy.
good.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. But yes, that is definitely what I was thinking of is Bates Motel. So, all right. Once again, horror remakes / reimaginations, fan flicks, or best of Hitchcock. So in the coming days here, after this episode is released, usually we do it about Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in there. We will set it out on Instagram stories and on Twitter to help vote for which one you want to see us do for our Showdown episode in the month of July. We may also, because of the holiday, potentially, I don't know what day of the week it falls on, but let's see. Monday the 4th. 4th of July is a Monday, so we'll probably still have one come out that day, right?
If we record early.
Let's get patriotic.
Yeah, we just might need to get on top of
it.
I know. We'll do Uncle Sam or something like that. Is that a remake? I don't think it is. In any case, that will be a fun July topic. Now, stop delaying. Stop fucking trying to hold me up, you guys.
Sorry.
You're trying to stall.
No, I don't want to stall talking about this shitty fucking
You're trying
movie.
to stall because you don't want to face the reality that is 1979's Bog.
Go ahead and tell us. Tell us all about it, Brian. That's all I want to hear.
I will. I fucking will. Listen to me. Bog rules. Bog forever. No, Bog fucking sucks. But it's kind of a fun flick. I'll tell you where I found this. I actually heard of this movie via a YouTube channel that Steve turned me on to, which is Red Letter Media. And they are so fucking funny.
I've
kind
come
of
to
just absolutely
you
love
went
those
into
guys.
like Reddit, like rabbit holes, and you just try to find the shittiest things to watch.
I do that as well, but this was actually one that popped up on Red Letter Media, which they do a series where they just talk exclusively about terrible movies, and this is one that came up, and I was just cracking up at the review of it, and I was like, I gotta watch this movie. Sat down, watched it. I was like, this is perfect. This is just goddamn perfect in every way, shape, or form. This movie was filmed in 1979, but I don't think it was actually released until like 1984 before, but it looks like it's from 1968.
Do you think that they probably sat on it for multiple years thinking about like how bad of a decision this was, and then finally they're like, no, we just need to put it out?
I think what this probably was a situation where this almost was like an independent thing, because if you look at the director and the writer, like the writer doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, so that's giving you perspective. And also
I would
the
erase them from history
director,
too.
which is Don Kiesler, he has done very, very little. He directed 3 movies, as far as I can tell here. He has 1 assistant director credit and 3 director credits. And the director credits are, of course, Bog, 1979, a short from 1960 called A Day in Old Milwaukee. And then he directed a TV movie in 1982 called The Capture of Grizzly Adams.
I'm not going to lie. I was almost hoping that like somehow his entire credit was like he did Bog and then wanted to do a remake, and then the last one was a fan film that he did of himself.
Yeah. He was also an AD on a 1981. He was second unit director, actually, in a TV movie called The Nashville Grab, which is my signature move.
Wow.
It's like the Boston
the bed or
Crab.
in the ring?
Oh, yeah. It's like the Boston Crab, but it's the Nashville Grab.
Gotcha.
It's like
Boston
if the
Crab.
Honky Tonk Man did the Boston Crab.
I don't know anything you guys are saying right now, so either you explain or we move on. I'm just like,
you don't know the Boston Crab?
No, I don't.
Classic wrestling move.
It's just the Walls of Jericho.
Yeah, it's pretty much the Walls of Jericho. But like 50 years before.
Right.
Yeah. In any case,
don't you know that?
I was so offended. I was also so offended that you know what the Boston Crab is. That is an old school move.
That's such an old school move. And like, how do you not know the finisher of Rick the Model Martel?
Yeah.
Wow, I feel attacked right now, and I don't like
Get
it.
your
Guys.
shit together.
I'm gonna Google this right now.
It is literally the Walls of Jericho. There's like 3 other wrestlers probably that have some variation of the Boston Crab as their.
I see that. Oh,
is it?
Yeah, I feel like what's his nuts also kind of does finisher like that. These are interesting. Okay, anyway, move on. Move on.
Yeah.
No, move on.
Okay. In any case, this film is, obviously the shining jewel of Don Kiesler's career.
Yeah. Career. Funny.
I use the term career, in quotes, but
this really feels like these credits are crazy. There's so many like goofy things in it, but like it really feels like this was one of those films that took the George Romero school of filmmaking of like, we do industrial films and now we're going to make a narrative with all our time and money we have on our hands,
and actors who perform in industrial films.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are all like, the average age on this film is 45.
I was going to say 68, 45. That's
people
generous.
looked a lot older at that time too.
They did, but even taking that in consideration, these people were fucking ancient. Listen, I'm not trying to be ageist here.
These were a lot of Depression era people.
The Crypt Creeper was waiting outside for everyone to die.
This was old, yes. There were a lot of oldies in this one. We're not going to go through the plot of this movie very deeply, but I do.
Like, I really don't like.
Well, it's
we
like
can make
there's
one
no
up
plot, but also simultaneously too much plot. It's a fucking very, very strange movie. I'll give you the high level synopsis here. Actually, you know what? I'll let IMDb do it for you here.
Good call.
Yeah, just because I really. It really sums up the movie pretty well. When I read it, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Dynamite fishing in a rural swamp revives a prehistoric gill monster that must have the blood of human females in order to survive. Kinda, but also 100% yes. Like, I mean, that tells you the story. You don't need to know anything else. It's not entirely accurate, but you definitely don't need to know anything else.
All those things happen, but also a whole lot of nothing happens along with it.
And also, it's not the blood they're after. I mean, it is, but now you're confusing the feeding with the reproduction, which is two separate things and two separate discussions in the movie. But also, it doesn't fucking matter. So basically, what it comes down to is like there's some dickhead fishing with dynamite, and he wakes up this prehistoric creature that's at the bottom of the fucking lake. I'm pretty sure that's what he said
before he threw it. He's like, dynamite.
Yeah.
I thought he had a joint at first too. I thought he was just smoking some weed and like fishing. It's kind of hoping that
there's a very 70s aesthetic to this. We should also say, if you're going to watch this movie, the audio quality is atrocious, and it's maybe only surpassed by the just absolutely terrible visual quality.
And even acting. Like, you can add acting to that too. Yeah,
and acting.
Absolutely.
This is a genuinely goddamn horrible movie.
It looks like the film negatives were developed in like a room that had a constantly opening door.
Yeah. It's
like a revolving door.
Yeah. Like it was
done. But they get really upset every time they open it. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Do my movie.
They developed this in the blue light special aisle at Kmart. Just fluorescent lights blaring down on it. Yes, it is really, really just technically horrible. In an oddly charming way, but then they spent a little bit of money on this.
Did they?
Like they had an airplane shot.
They had a lot of
They had
dynamite.
They had a lot of underwater shots. They had
underwater explosions.
My point is, compared to something like, now this is much older, obviously, but compared to something like Suburban Sasquatch, that the whole thing could have conceivably been made for like $3,500. This. They spent a little bit of money. Not a lot of money.
I bet you it probably would have been a little bit more fun if they spent less money, because I think we talk about sometimes how movies can be funnier when they take themselves very seriously and like they're conscious of that, like, or even just how funny. And this one was just like, taking yourself seriously, but you're making things real awkward.
They definitely were people. They were definitely trying to mimic atomic age sci-fi, specifically like a rural kind of take on the Blob. Really is what it felt like to me in a lot of ways.
So back to what you're talking about as far as like the production value. Let me throw this out there. Again, I already mentioned how I'm pretty sure this was made by an industry filmmaking group.
Yeah.
Think about all the favors they actually probably just called in. They called in a favor for the airplane company that they shot a commercial for, a favor for the fire safety, when they had they had the firemen come out. So they
sent the sickest fire truck, and not the sickest in like, oh shit, that's sick. Like the siren sounded like it was dying. Like it took them a while to get it running, and then they just were like
enfeebled fire truck.
And even just like the dialogue was very jargon heavy. It just felt like somebody who had written scripts for industrial training videos and shit like that.
Can we talk about some of these lines though, like early on, that like cracked me the
so
fuck
many
up?
Good lines. So many good lines.
Like one of my first one early on. So like. Again, we're not going through the plot, but like when everyone's going on this fishing trip early on, their whole dynamic was ridiculous. I felt like it was just propaganda for people for men specifically, not to ever get married. And then the one specific line was, "Give me a beer slave." He called someone his like wife a slave. What the
I loved the whole dynamic. We should probably explain this because some of the best lines are in this first like 20 minutes of the movie. And it's essentially after you see the initial, Dynamite Joe out there who gets eaten by an unseen creature, and then a bog witch kind of peeks at him through you don't know what's happening. It's absolutely asinine. And then you get this long, like I said, they called in that favor for the plane shot. It's horribly executed. It literally makes you nauseous. It's so jumpy. And it goes on for 5 minutes. It's really long. Later, when they do the underwater shots, it's the same thing. It's like they're just trying to eke get every cent of their money's worth from these shots, and it's so boring.
Hey, maybe one of you guys can like answer this question though too, because I feel like we've seen in some movies where it just feels like sometimes some of the clips just go on too long. Exactly what you're saying. Was this like a thing at a certain point, or is this just like poor like filmmaking?
I mean, it's poor filmmaking, but it's also just padding out the time so you have a 70-minute film.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it can be considered for feature release and whatever
like
else.
Where now
it won't be distributed if they can't hit that, whatever the
like,
number is.
It's like, when someone's heading towards the door, they're walking out the door, but then at that point you would like literally film them and put it in the movie to like everyone walking out the film. Hey, no, you need to come over here. Come on, come through the door.
I forgot my keys. Okay, let's watch them go back inside for the keys. Right. Yeah, it's just padding. It's just padding out the movie.
It's infamously made fun of in Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like all the parking shots that you see in old films of like cars arriving at their destination. You don't need to watch a fucking car park. You just show an establishing shot. That's where you're at, and then you go into the venue. You don't like.
Yeah, we create the rest of it in our mind. Like we got brains now.
We got it.
Maybe not in 79.
Yeah,
right.
But there was you get then quickly introduced to these two couples, which I don't know how old they're supposed to be, because you see this one guy, he's got like a beard, a mustache, and a hat, and just like a lot of things on his head. So you're like, he could be of whatever age. Then there's a woman that
I am 30 or 40 years old.
Yeah, he is 30 or 40 years old. Then there's his significant other. Again, she seems like she is 30 or 40 years old. But then the other couple, the woman is, again, 30 or 40 years old, but she is playing what feels like considerably older. And then her
seems
husband...
real crotchety, too.
And I don't use this term lightly, guys, unless it fits so perfectly. And in this instance, it does. Her husband is a hobo. An old hobo. Like, he really truly looks like he was born in a boxcar. His name is like Boxcar Joe. He's got hobo teeth. He talks like a hobo. He's just got that like leathery skin of a guy who hasn't slept indoors in a long time. I'm not trying to say anything bad about.
Is he like the Wish version of a hobo? Would you say that?
He is actually like them. He's the Wish.com version of just like, someone from the like a character from the Honeymooners or something, you know what I mean? But he is just like really doesn't look like he belongs there. He looks to be 20 years older. Now, again, this was in the 70s. Like shit like that maybe flew a little bit more. I don't know. It's
very possible he was just a transient and then got a movie role.
Wow.
It felt like it could have been that. Yeah.
This is the American dream. Can we talk? I just thought if we're talking about characters,
ride the rails in the Milwaukee and get a movie.
Yeah.
Characters in general. The gun salesman reminded me specifically of like a version of Captain Ahab, but like real life, or maybe like, you know what I mean? Like he had those vibes.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a deep literary reference.
Probably, for sure. They're when they put out the role, they're like, we're looking for Captain Ahab. But he sells guns.
And Captain Ahab type. Yeah, that's what they put in the personal ad. Or the classified, not the personal ad. Maybe they did put out a personal ad, but it could probably...
It was an M for M on Craigslist.
Or they just went to the gun shop and had the owner.
Yeah. I think it was like, guy, can we shoot in your shop? You can be in our movie. I think that was probably more it.
Yeah.
Probably. But then I also want to meet him. I want to meet Captain Ahab.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He's been dead for 30
Everybody
years.
in this movie's dead.
I'm going to go to his grave then.
I guess I'm going to go to his grave then. No, but every single person in this movie has been dead for 30 years.
Fuck, man.
I don't know for
sure. Very
that.
few of these people saw what the internet was.
You know what we should start doing is just posting people's obituaries more regularly in films or whatever.
Yeah. I love that the dialogue is very fun. The whole theme is, by fun, I mean problematic. The whole thing is basically these two guys, they're just like misogynist dickheads who are just like really into like being mean to their significant others who also like clearly don't like their significant others.
No,
like
they definitely need divorced, all of them.
Yeah, they should never see each other again. Yeah, but also the guys they also like kind of want to fuck each other. I'm pretty sure. So they do a lot of
grab ass.
A lot of grab ass, and one of my favorite is like, hey, my man, why don't you give me a beer? And he's like, you got it, guy. I really like that line.
I had 2 notes from this scene.
Yeah.
One was they were like ragging on the women for being outside in the sticks, and they're like, they probably won't be happy till they go to Saks Fifth Avenue, and I'm like, damn, women be shopping.
And then he's like,
and
I
then
bet
you
they
like
will be
stare
happy
at me
till they're inside Saks.
Until
Fifth
they're
Avenue.
inside it. Yeah.
Like
a good punch up for the joke, dummy.
that was not a like. If you want to go shopping, you have to go inside. You fucking suck at comedy.
But my other note though was the dialogue feels like it was written by an AI, and then somebody just typed in the prompt, "What if a drunk fisherman hated his wife?"
Yeah, because a couple of them, the jokes that got set up didn't have punchlines. Like the one was like something about, hey, you guys want to we'll take the tent, you guys sleep in the bed of the truck or whatever, and then they're like, well, why don't you guys bunk up and we'll bunk up? The wives kind of say to the husbands.
Do you guys feel like they should have had like Brooklyn or Boston accents? Like, something a little bit more extreme, because I probably would have appreciated.
Or Chicago. I would have liked it like Chicago accent.
Yeah, I mean like Baltimore maybe. Yeah. Something weird. That's what they needed.
But the guy goes, all right, this works every time. And he like says some line about how it works every time, and he goes, you take the brown sleeping bag, I'll take the green one. And the guy's like, we don't have a brown sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's a nickname for your butthole.
You know what, Meg? Thanks. That actually really illuminates
that actually
it.
Clarifies it a lot.
Yeah.
They were talking. He was suggesting that they're gonna fuck each other. Yes.
The one guy was gonna sleep in the green sleeping bag, and then his friend was gonna sleep in his butt.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what, Meg? You solved the mystery, and you got it. That's it.
Move on. Nothing more to say. Oh man, that Third Eye Blind song? It's about this scene.
Yeah.
It's a semi-charmed kind of life, guys. Like,
yeah, they're living a semi-charmed kind of life.
I'm getting heartburn and burping. I don't know what's going on.
And then this leads to the line Meg was talking about, which the wife, the particularly mean wife, who's like really, really genuinely hates her husband. But again, her husband is a full-fledged hobo. They're walking through the woods.
They picked her up on the way.
And she's going, I can't get through. They're like walking through some like kind of dense brush. And she's like, I need an axe to get through here. And he goes, ask me no questions, slave person.
What the like? Again, written by an AI. What the fuck is any of that
talking about?
What is it to not
guys,
like your
we're
spouse?
5 minutes into this movie.
It's okay because this is where everything happens.
Yeah,
like nothing happens after that. After this, it's like a lot of drunk slurring of dialogue.
Yeah, yep. Eventually, I know this sounds like I'm kind of cruising through it, but it really is somehow uneventful. Both of the wives are murdered by a creature, and you just couldn't care less. But I also wrote around this time, my note was, it feels like everyone in this movie probably has bad breath. Doesn't it just looking at their faces feels like they probably have bad breath?
A bit.
Do you think they have wooden teeth, Jube?
Couple of them have wooden teeth. A couple of them have George Washington teeth. Yeah.
Hobo husband has wooden teeth.
Yeah.
The guy we're introduced to, Wallace, who's just like a shitty Torgo.
Oh, I forgot about Wallace. Wallace shows up for a second and is dispatched very fast.
Yeah.
But he is like Torgo from what the fuck is that movie called?
Manos.
Manos, The Hands of Fate. Yeah.
Like he shows up and like he shows up doing like 30 different accents at once.
He's a cartoon character. He doesn't look or act or anything like anyone else in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't act like a person.
Hey guys, I have an idea for a fan film for this movie, though. Can I throw it in? What if it's The Sopranos, but with that monster? DM.
Like that scene where like they're out in the woods, like in the snow thing, but then that monster just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna really have to go to therapy for this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna say bad idea.
You know what? I hate that you're ruining my dreams right now.
I just don't think it improves.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, they at one point, the one guy's wife gets pulled underwater and he just runs to the shore yelling her name like she's somewhere else. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any damn sense.
I think what really happened was that we talk about, they clearly don't like each other. I'm pretty sure they definitely picked up all the wives on the road. Like they were
I see where you're going. It's an organized crime thing. He hired the creature to whack his wife.
But now he's just like, oh, whoops, she's gone. Where did she go? I don't know.
This movie feels like this movie feels like the elaborate lie that the husbands are telling the police.
Oh yeah.
After they both. So what really happens is the husbands murder their wives in the woods.
Right.
But then they tell this elaborate story of like, oh, there was a monster, and then we went to the gun store, and then we got guns, and then we met a guy, and he took us to a witch, and then there were scientists, and the scientists couldn't kill it. And
it's like what a bunch of like people who've been on like a 6-month meth binge are trying to explain away the fact that they murdered their wives. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
No, this is very serious stuff, but I feel like it's a good PSA for like how to, kill your spouse appropriately.
Oh, I was going to say a PSA for meth, but no, PSA for how to do a better job of murdering your spouse. Yeah.
Guys, I'm fucked up, remember.
Well, they also talk about... They also talk about how the wives are dead, but then they find them and they're not really injured. So it's this whole thing about how like their blood has just been removed.
But they just keep holding their heads underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not drowned, but they do specify that their blood has been removed. And then you get one of the greatest lines in cinematic history, which I will post on the Instagram. This movie, we should say, and forgive me, Lord Tubi, I did not mention at the top of the show, this is streaming for free in our sacred text, Tubi. But I imagine you could also probably find it on YouTube. Anyway,
do you see how when you do the cross thing, it's like a teeth?
It's like an upside down T. Yeah. Yep. I do it every single night. But also the coroner, whose name, she's not a coroner. She is a some sort of scientist, but apparently she also does autopsies in this town, which is just like apparently anybody can do an autopsy in this town. Her name is Ginny. Ginny has an unbelievable line. They're talking about how the victims that they find have had their blood removed, and she says, and you have to see the facial expression. I will post it. She says to this old strawberry-nosed alcoholic doctor. She says
she's
to
way
him,
smarter than him too. But anywho,
yeah, oh yeah, he's dumb as a brick. But she goes, are you saying we have a Dracula running loose out there?
I actually fucking did that. I wrote that down too. But I was also.
Are you saying we have a Dracula running loose out there? It's so good.
That was a 0 to 60 comment, though. In reality,
well, yeah, she could say something like a parasite. Something. No, she just goes, "Are you saying we have a Dracula?"
Do you know what? You know what I want to? That's a great line. I did. I noted that down. But I really want to also note when she was. This is like a little bit after that, where she was just like, it would have had to like been pushed into her throat. And I was like, we're borderline porn vibes right now for this too, for a lot of these things.
What they explain is, and yes, you're right, because what they're essentially explaining is that this creature is drinking people like a Capri Sun.
Fuck yeah,
like it is putting its like needle like appendage, which you never see.
You know what it is though? It's like that that trick where you you break the hole, you put liquor into the Capri Sun, and then you seal it back up, and that's pretty much what's happening.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but then I think with like maybe semen or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
they need to impregnate.
Yeah. In any case, they are drinking people like a Capri Sun. But the way they're describing it, and we haven't gotten this far yet, but the two old scientists, Ginny and Dr. Brad, they are fucking each other, having old people sex, and really doing a lot of like dry smooching, and then I assume dry intercourse as well right after that. But everything is very bone dry, and so the whole time they're talking about the monster drinking people like Capri Suns, there's a lot of sexual tension, which
it's getting them horned up.
Yeah, they're kind of getting horny, talking about the reproductive elements and all this stuff. It's pretty tough. And then Dr. Brad is pretty apathetic about the whole thing, but Ginny is she emotes so hard. She's the one who clearly just did a bunch of industrial films, like explaining the importance of like printer safety or something like that, you know. And she just really emotes really, really hard.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you on that though.
Okay, all right.
I think it's just because she's the only actual actor.
Yeah, but she's so like she overacts everything, and maybe it's a stage actor thing, but she's just like she's putting too much inflection on every single thing she says.
She got her start in like the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
So that's like when they first just got sound.
Yeah, the talkies just started.
So she just found her voice.
Like,
you think is that what it is?
Yeah. So she's
wasn't
not really
talking up
used
until that
to.
point?
Exactly. You have to get used to, she only had 30 years to actually figure out how you can, speak on camera.
Yeah, and that's one third of her age.
Yeah, and I guess apparently her last role was Beverly on Touched by an Angel in 2000.
God, I've never heard a sentence make more sense. Her last role was as Beverly in Touched by an Angel. My grandparents, who are in their early 90s, watched Touched by an Angel religiously. And I don't mean religiously as a pun. They are not religious, but watched Touched by an Angel as if they were.
And the actress's name is Gloria DeHaven, but she just was on all kinds of old shows. She was on Murder, She Wrote.
Well, can I guess some shows to see if she was on it?
Sure, go ahead.
Was she on Dallas?
I do not see. No Dallas.
Was she on Hawaii Five-0?
Ooh, kind of close.
Ooh, another cop show.
It's definitely in
Dragnet?
Hawaii.
No, not Dragnet.
Was she on any? Was it a funny cop show? Or was it a serious cop show?
It was more serious.
I was going to say, okay. All right, give me another one.
Okay, so Heart to Heart.
Okay, yeah.
What is that?
And then it was a cop show. It was like two. It was a married couple doing detective stuff. She was on Gunsmoke.
Okay, Dallas or Gunsmoke. It had to be one or the other, even though those are like completely different eras. I feel like those are interchangeable.
So I'll give you one, and then you should be able to get another one, just because if you were on one show, you were probably on the other.
Okay.
She was on Fantasy Island.
Oh, so she was probably on Love Boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's good trivia here, guys.
Yeah. She was
is
definitely
the only thing interesting about this movie is the trivia.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and the Draculars.
The Dracula. Yeah.
But yeah, the dialogue is just so awful, but I love that the actors just commit so hard. We get introduced to a really interesting character that is dispatched really, really quickly, which, like Steve said, is Mr. Wallace Fry, who is a cartoon prospector who just stumbles into the gun shop and is like, I'll show you where the monster is.
Sorry, as you were doing that and I was doing this, that made sense. I'm throwing the guns up.
Yeah. He's that guy for sure.
Wile E. Coyote.
And then there's like these big long scenes where they might as well, Ginny and Dr. Brad might as well just be going, jargon, 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 jargon. They're just saying scientific jargon back and forth at each other.
This is like
to
they're
no
trying
real
gaming
end.
factors to try to sound smart. That was like what they were trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the real heart of the giant spider invasion. Because like half of that movie, when you're not looking at Nathan Hale chasing down a giant puppet spider, is just two old scientists going back and forth doing jargon.
Yeah. That was that was definitely a even like Forbidden Planet. There's plenty of that with like a very young Leslie Nielsen saying a lot of jargon. Like that was a thing in like cheap, listen, and I love Forbidden Planet, but in like a lot of sci-fi, mid-century atomic age sci-fi, there was always a lot of jargon. But yeah, I couldn't help but think Old Wallace was basically like a Monty Python character that he just stumbled onto the wrong set. It was very strange. There is one scene that I thought was kind of creepy. Now, the Bog Witch, the audio quality was so bad during the time where they went to like talk to the Bog Witch that it actually made it kind of creepy in a found footagey type of way.
Honestly, I feel like every time they went to the Bog Witch, I felt like those might have been my favorite scenes because they were slow, but I felt like they were creepy and good, and like I don't know, I could see it, like people even taking notes from, I don't know, it was neat. I don't know.
I was real big too, so it was like really hitting me in a good spot in my brain. But I don't know.
I don't like saying nice things about this movie though.
I know, yeah. You don't want to listen when I say. I mean, it's still awful, but like compared to everything else,
I'm an optimist, and I try to find things to enjoy about everything.
You're glass half full. You're glass half full type of gal. We know that about you.
Yeah.
That's how I think about Meg. As she puts blowing her brains out symbol up to her head. I love that. I really do like that the two guys who clearly have murdered their wives so they can live a life together in the woods, when they talk to people about their wives, they never say their names. They're always like, what happened to our wives? I'm coming in we are here to see our wives. Like they don't know their names.
Right.
It's so fucking weird and unnatural.
Yeah, they're not using slave or a very generic term. They're like, who did I fucking marry?
Yeah.
The goal is that they could go home with anyone that night and it would still be the same person.
Yeah. Oh, also around this time when I was watching the movie, it occurred to me that there is no bog. It's a lake.
Yeah.
But the lake is called Bog Lake.
It's a fancy fucking lake.
Is it a bog? Is it a lake?
They did a very poetic, like, what is the doctor? He did that very poetic breakdown of what this like bog lake was too, which I felt like was so uncomfortable because I'm like, no one talks like that.
No,
at all.
The dialogue couldn't be less natural.
Not to mention that now you're saying it's not like there's no such thing as a bog, which I kind of believe it for 2 seconds.
I guess
ruined my dreams.
There is such thing as a bog.
Yeah.
There's just not one in this movie.
Bogs exist.
What is a
but
bog,
I guess
then?
I don't know what a
bog
bog
is. Like
is.
another word for a swamp, I think.
Okay, that makes sense because the Boggy Creek monster. Yeah.
Yeah. There is such thing as a bog. I don't know what the difference between a bog and a swamp is, but this appears to be a lake that has perhaps some bog-like elements to it. I don't know.
Bogs are north of the Mason-Dixon.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually. No, I do think about it like that because I think of like.
Sorry, now I'm questioning the Boggy Creek monster. Now I'm questioning because that's in Arkansas.
That is in Arkansas, but in Wisconsin, where they grow cranberries, bogs are like swampland that is as a result of flooding, I think. So like when they harvest cranberries in Wisconsin, they call them cranberry bogs. And what they are is they just have a big low-lying field of cranberry bushes, which are, low-lying bushes on the ground. And then to harvest the cranberries, they flood the bogs because the cranberries have a little air bubble inside them, and they raise to the top, and that's how they harvest the cranberries.
Oh.
Halloween is forever, sponsored by Ocean Spray. Let's go.
Listen, I used to live in Wisconsin. I know all about cranberry bogs. But
No, I actually would love to go to one. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
But I do think that I think a bog is as a result of like flooding, whereas a swamp is always a swamp. Swamp's a swamp's a swamp. That's what my grandpappy used to say. I don't know, guys.
Swamp people are
Holler
swamp people
out,
are swamp people.
Slide
you know?
into the DMs. Tell us the difference between a bog and a swamp. I will tell you this: a lake is a different thing, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. Yeah, and this is very clearly a lake.
It's a fucking lake, right?
With some lily pads that they're like, that's the bog.
That's the bog. That is the bog section of the lake.
But you know that had a very frog-like character. The monster did have frog-like characteristics. So what I'm assuming is they're like, whoa, guys, have you seen lily pads? You know frogs like them?
Yeah.
You know what's kind of freaky is if we make one huge.
Yeah.
Make it fish-like.
I don't know much. I don't know much about bogs, but what I do know is you can't land a plane in a bog.
Yes.
Why?
You can't.
Tell me.
Because it's too shallow and it's dirty and it's too overgrown.
Those don't seem like normal reasons.
Well, I think... Are you not a pilot? No, I do think that bogs... Yeah, when I think bogs, I think, first of all, wooded areas, like a swamp. You wouldn't land a plane in a swamp. You'd be landing it in the damn woods. You know what I mean?
You've never landed a tree or a plane in a tree? That's not normal for you?
No, not as far as I... Listen, I'm not a pilot. So
We're not
I will
pilots.
say that as a disclaimer. We also learn at some point that now what they're referring to, I think, as the bog hag, which is a wrestler gimmick. Somebody needs to
It's my
take
new
up.
nickname.
Yeah.
That's actually, like, for our live show, that's going to be what I come in as the bog hag.
The bog hag.
The bog hag has a
And I'm
telepath.
going to do the Boston crab to someone.
You just learned that move.
The bog crab. The bog
Guys,
crab.
I like am a pro at it now. Like,
The
you
bog
guys didn't
crab
see
is
here.
like the Boston crab, but when you sit on the person's like butt, when you're like pulling their legs up, you fart on their butt.
I like it. Yeah. We fart. Like, it's like a double fart. You have to
you
make
like
sure they fart too.
into their it's like a big fish, little fish fart situation.
In their brown sleeping
you
bag.
fill their butt with your farts.
That's also known as the brown sleeping bag.
That's the brown sleeping bag. It's like big fish, little fish, brown, green sleeping bag. The brown sleeping bag, when you do it in a bog, they call the green sleeping bag.
Because of all the moss.
Because of, all the bog
Hey,
slime.
side really cute story. I was at a bonfire last night and I made sure to there was a bunch of moss everywhere and I made everyone take their shoes off and stand on moss with me.
Oh, I love to stand on moss
It was fucking
in bare
amazing.
feet. That is,
Sorry.
Yeah, I love it.
That was a good
does not. We've established
Yeah.
Steve doesn't like things in his toes. I loved
it. It was so stuffed. I wanted to sleep on it and then people were like,
Maeve
no.
just said that we were out in the woods and there was this big kind of patch of moss and she was like, "Oh, I wish you could just make a bed out of this." I was
Fuck
like,
yeah.
I know.
I really would love to have a wall of moss at some point wherever I live, when I actually exist in a house. And not on the street. Someone's driveway.
In the street.
Again, I'm the bog hag.
Bog hag. Hashtag bog hag 2022.
I'm looking for my forever cave, guys.
Guys,
this is my
get ready
dating app.
for it. Grab those Trulies. Grab those bush apples. It's bog hag summer, baby. We should do a promo with Bush Apple, and it's hashtag bog hag summer. You just slamming Bush apples.
I'm like way too here for this.
Instead of the Truly like pool pack, it's the Bush Apple bog pack. Bog hag summer.
The bush bog pack. That is
Bush bog pack.
bush bog pack.
I just like walking around with a bunch of moss all over my head, you know?
Somebody buy Meg a ghillie suit.
Yeah. Well, I'm imagining old Greg from the Mighty
Yes,
Boosh.
yes. Someone even just posted that clip, and I was reminded that I need to rewatch that entire fucking show because I fucking love it. So good.
It's so funny.
Tell me you love me.
I'm old Greg.
That's again. See, this is all going together for Bog Hag Summer. Is that I'm just trying to get a bunch of people to tell me they love me, trying to find love here, guys.
Yeah. Hashtag Bog Hag Summer. All right, but Bog
Moving
Hag
on.
has a
This is way more
telepathic
entertaining than
connection
this movie.
to the monster. I think what they have established is that the monster has impregnated the Bog Hag, and she was the one who squeezed out the little eggs.
Yeah, that was my question. Is that the implication that she's out there shitting eggs?
Yeah, she's out there farting out. She's farting out monster eggs.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I think
That's the implication.
Yeah.
I think that also the eggs look like something you'd get out of a quarter vending machine.
Yeah. Yeah,
They did.
Like they have little homies in them.
I was almost looking. I was wondering what kind of prizes you get, but it's probably ones that you don't want, because they cost you a lot of money and take up a lot of your life.
Yeah, but
it looked like somebody's shitty recycle art.
Yeah, it did. It looked like it was made of some packaging materials. Yeah. Yeah. Fast forward to Ginny and Dr. Brad. They're going to take their dentures out in '69. Here's where you get some really, really tender and extended smooching scene. Just so much dry, closed mouth kissing that goes on way too long. Couple of really great scenes that they kept in the film, which I'm very happy they did. One was the sheriff, who's a fucking wild card. The sheriff almost falling down the hill. Did you
I have
notice
a
that?
comment about the sheriff.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that the entire movie, the sheriff was always trying to get other people to go out to the bog and check things out? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is your job. I'm pretty sure. He's like, oh, yeah, no, but he's making it out to be it's their idea.
Well, the only person
funny.
that's under 80
Super
years
cute.
old in this movie are the cops, are his staff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are the ones who are 30 to 40.
Right.
But everyone, or 30 or 40, everyone else is
30 or 40.
70 or 80.
Yeah. That was my favorite part of he keeps trying to get people to go out, and then finally they get these diver hunters
who are also 70 or 80.
Yeah,
I really wish he just kept on being no, you do it.
No, you do.
No, you.
In a normal movie, those diver hunters, they would be Blackwater former Marines.
Yeah.
And no, it's just two old guys.
It's two old guys, and then they have this conversation about how there were supposed to be 3, but they're no, we only need 2. And it's oh, okay.
And you're like, are you sure? I question. I was you look pretty old. I feel I would help you.
I know.
I would offer a helping
grumpier
hand.
Old. The cast of grumpier old men shows up.
I really wanted to grab their hand and walk them to the boat, to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure they didn't mess up the days in their medicine, And then they were and then the other funniest scene was where the guy who does all the talking, he seems to be the guy who knows how to do the diving, and he just brought his jabroni buddy along. He's down, he comes up out of the water and he's yelling at the what's this
Paula Sand.
Neil?
Neil. Yeah, Sheriff Neil.
He's going, Neil, and then he swallows a little bit of water. He's Neil himself. Neil. And it was clearly real, and they kept it in of the old guy choking on water. It was so funny.
He needed someone to be holding his hand, or I could have been under the water just holding him up, with a scuba suit.
He needed floaties,
floaties.
I want to,
or one of those kickboards that you do water aerobics with. Yeah.
I want to remake this movie and have everybody still be 75, 80, but then include their assisted living nurses. But the nurses they're never addressed. They never have lines. They're just there.
They're just there just to make sure they don't fall down.
But we trust that things are being taken care of because
they're just walking old people out of the lake. They're helping them hold their guns. It's just all of it.
They're no, here, hold it back. His dexterity's not great. I gotta cock the hammer back.
You gotta move your legs this way a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
They never speak. They're pushing them in wheelchairs. All of it. But they're never acknowledged.
Steve, I really like this.
I like a lot of the one of the most entertaining things were all the cops' names. One of them was Corky. I like that a lot. There was another really silly one.
Is Corky
which is
an actual name, or is that always just like a nickname for something else?
feels like a nickname, probably, but
But
Corky.
for what?
Oh gosh, yeah. What would Corky
Charles?
be
I know a couple.
Maybe.
I know a couple Corks.
Corkle?
a nickname? Oh,
Not Corkle.
Corkle.
Not Corkle.
I just think of Corky Romano. That
Yeah.
movie. No,
So
Corky.
bad.
What would
So
Corky
good and
be
so bad.
short for?
I think it's not short for anything. I think it's just more because like Cork is like an Irish name.
A county in
So
Yeah.
would
county
you
Cork.
would you
yeah.
tell someone who is like really soft that call him Corky and just
Mhm.
it's like a jab but not it's like a cute jab?
Corky does sound like a dog's name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you wouldn't call a human like Sparky. You know what I
Right.
mean, or something like that.
Yeah, Corky would be like what you would call like a kid, and then but what would you call them as an adult? Like that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. It goes to like Cork or Corkle.
Corkle.
You're really trying to make Corkle work.
Stop
and it's
trying to
not
make
gonna work.
Corkle work.
Corkle sounds like an underwater thing too, so that's why I feel
Yeah.
like it's more applicable.
Corkle
Like a
snorkel.
cockle. No, I was thinking like cockles. You know?
Conch shells.
Yeah.
Maybe Corky is short for conch shell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now we're
Now
this
we're
makes
cooking.
total sense.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah.
I told
Corky,
you
short for
guys.
Corkenstein.
I don't know if I should have had wine midday today, but this is who you get today.
This is what's happening. Did you guys make any sense of the fact that they were talking about how the creature is made of 100% cancer cells?
No.
That was so inconsequential, too.
Yeah. Like, it just say it was something that was frozen from the Ice Age and came
Yeah,
back.
first it was like, oh, it's like some sort of like living fossil that has an exoskeleton, and it was talking about how it's like part rock and part animal, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it has like a shell, like it's a mollusk or something like that, you know.
Mhm.
Are we
But
trying
then-
to say that all cancer came from the dinosaurs? Is that kind of what
Yes.
we're trying to say?
Yeah. I think that's the subplot. here.
Jurassic Park is going to have some issues.
Mhm. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It didn't need to be there. It made no difference. It was just part of the like jargon spewing portion of the film, and a lot of it really just feels like a bunch of little weird mini monologues. Like the interaction is super unnatural.
I had another good favorite line. Can I share it?
Yeah.
It was the sheriff like coming back and saying, "I think she was on angel dust, if you ask me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, that." I feel like that was like a real like 0 to 60 comment.
Yeah.
Like we have no concept that this town has any issues with angel
Well, he
dust.
doesn't
and
know what
apparently now
angel
it
dust
does.
is. Like,
He
was
doesn't.
like, he was like, I think
doesn't
she's
even
been
know what weed
smoking
is.
that jazz cabbage. You know, like
yeah,
I
exactly.
think she's been popping goofers. It's just what old guys call drugs. Like they don't know what angel
Right.
dust is.
Yeah, they think angel dust is everything.
Yeah.
See, we don't know it, but that's like a really inside joke that's like a reference to their previous industry film of like the dangers of
I don't even
angel
want to
dust.
fucking know.
Mhm. I was going to say it was a
They're like,
Remember
I was
we
gonna
did
say
that
it
one?
was-
They're
It was-
getting residuals for this film for that.
It was some sort of divine cognition around Ginny's future career on Touched by an Angel.
Fucking God. Touched
was
by
a
an angel dust?
Touched by an Angel dust.
Did you catch what the sheriff was keeping his fucking whiskey in because the sheriff is a drunk the entire time?
Yeah.
I literally was like, he probably went to the lab and found some
It looked like
random
some
thing.
sort of vial or something.
Yeah.
That you would keep in the
I would have
in the
not
science
drank
lab.
that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would have
don't
I
do
would have
it.
been like, oh, that's not coming out of a flask or an actual bottle. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You drink both of them first. And then maybe I'll consider.
Yeah. I really also like the scene where the one deputy, the mustachioed deputy, just completely dresses down the whole gun shop when they're all talking about how they're going to take like vigilante justice on this animal, creature, whatever.
But
And
again, I
he's
go
like-
back to the sheriff thing where I'm like, no, he heard that and he's like, yeah, See, he wants you all to do the work, so go ahead and do it.
Well, then he
do
also
it. I dare you.
When he finishes it, he's like, "Yeah, well, what am I going to tell him that a bunch of people down here are crazy? He already know you're crazy," and he's just like kind of berating them, and he just goes, "All right, goodbye, dummies." It's like, oh, super.
Yeah. There's a lot of "you won't" though, like Meg is saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of "you won't." Like,
yeah.
I dare you. You won't.
Yeah. And then like all this stuff is happening in the town. Like, I guess they're trying to like get help, but nobody will believe them outside the town. And these like the whole time, these two, Ginny and Dr. Brad, these old coots are just so horny. Like when they're just like, people are getting murdered every 5 seconds in the town. And they're like, we got to go back to the lab. And then he's like, are we gonna fuck in the lab? Like,
wink,
yeah, and they're
wink.
like, yeah, of course we are. It's just there's just no amount of chaos and murder and mayhem in the town makes these two old coots less horny.
Do you think when Ty West was writing the script for X, do you think like this movie was an inspiration for the scene that is in that film?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is just as gross and unpleasant.
This is it. Yeah, this is it.
I think like old people fucking is just generally designed so that we can all, as young 30 to 40 year olds, 30 or 40 year olds, excuse me, can feel really uncomfortable about our own sex lives, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe better or worse. One of the two. It's either that's like more action than we're getting, or I could do it better.
Or both of them have more stamina than me.
Or it makes me want to stop. Like, I don't want it anymore.
You're like, I don't even want to keep, I don't never want to touch another vagina ever again. No. I don't want to touch another penis. I'm done.
Yeah, we're done. You've ruined sex.
I'm
Thanks,
giving
Dr.
up.
Brad.
Yeah. It's like watching somebody eat a hamburger really disgustingly, and you're just like,
yeah, you're like, you just ruined hamburgers for me. They come up with this brilliant idea, which is, again, just inconsequential, of doing a blood scent diffuser, I guess, because he sucks the blood out of people. And then, surprise, surprise, it's a terrible rubber suit. Like I said, it looks like a giant, like if a child tried to make a dinosaur sock puppet, but again, they put crayfish pinchers on it.
Yeah.
And then Neil dies, and you're like, who fucking cares?
Right. Again, he was trying to get other people to do his work. He kind of fucking deserved it, you know?
Yeah, he just went wild card. He ran into the fucking blood diffuser.
Wild card!
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Charlie Daying that one, but it didn't work.
He died stupidly as he lived, but...
Neil died like he lived, like a fucking idiot.
But this led to my favorite line in the next scene when, like, Ginny is asking, why did Neil do that? And the drunk old doctor is just like, well, he was a man of action, and when he saw that thing, he naturally went after it. That was his nature.
As was his nature as a moron. As was his nature as the dumbest man in town.
Naturally.
Yeah.
You know what? Darwinism says something about that.
Yeah, Neil, we did not need Neil's DNA passed on.
Nope.
I think also, I did like that this inconsequential character, which was, of course, the bog hag, she, when she's discovered, they just shoot her dead.
That was great.
I'm so sad again.
real
I mean, we cannot ruin Bog Hag Summer by killing the Bog Hag. You know, guys, stay away from me. Don't.
That is actually gonna put a big damper on Bog Hag Summer. Is that the Bog Hag has been gunned down in cold blood?
I think death ruins everything.
Yeah. The most impressive thing I wrote here as well is Ginny running along the dock in high heels. That was maybe the most impressive part of the entire movie.
I'm impressed by women running in heels too. It means a skill.
Yeah. They spray the creature with some sort of poison, and then they just like pick it up and carry it away. Like I said, it's not a big deal. But then they call in
burning off or something. You know?
Yeah, you would think that. Yeah, they just
that was
spray
also
with
the
a fire
worst
extinguisher.
net.
Basically,
That was also the worst.
It's the blob, right? Because that's ultimately how they subdue the blob, is just spray it with fire extinguishers because it can't deal with the cold. In this instance, they just spray it with like fucking insulation foam or something. I don't know.
That was also the worst net I've ever seen. Like, there was no point to that net.
No, it seemed pretty incapacitated, but they did try to like insert a line that made it make sense, where they basically said whatever the poison was they sprayed it with, they had soaked the net in too.
Yeah.
So it's like, at least you tied up that end.
Ooh, this is scary.
Yeah.
I'm just now.
Also, Meg, it's not the worst net. The worst net is two of them in suburban Sasquatch. Both of those nets are the worst.
You don't remember the digital worm net,
followed by the way too small net.
Yeah, the net that was like it was as big as a doily. They call in at this point, apparently because up until this point, you didn't necessarily think that it was a fish, but it does have a crawfish claws. But anyway, they bring in an ichthyologist, and get ready for it. Brace yourself. He's old as fuck. They bring in the ichthyologist.
He was real cocky too. I hated him so much from the moment I heard his voice.
Mm-hmm. And you get a good shot of the blood. The blood from the creature is like Herbert West serum. It's like glowing green, which then they never really do anything with that blood. Like, you kept thinking it's going to be like, some sort of, okay, they have it subdued, but now it's going to escape. And then they're going to have to figure out some sort of like clever scientific human over nature way of destroying it. But no, they just smash it with a car. It's
taking
so
care of
fucking
business.
dumb. Yeah. And then they have some more discussion about how the bog hag was basically the creature's bog bride.
Yeah.
Kind of like the
bog
forest
brides.
bride. Yeah.
Everyone wants a wife. Why don't you just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's like stop talking about marriage. Marriage complicates things. Guys, been there, done that. Don't do that.
Well, it also it doesn't steal from it because this was before it, but it has a similar plot as Humanoids from the Deep, in that these creatures from the deep need to mate with or need the vessel of a human woman to reproduce.
But you don't need to be married to do that.
That's true. Well, in the eyes of God, you do. You sinner.
See, I don't know. I'm with Meg on this. I don't think the bog monster was trying to keep the bog witch as a bride. She was just DTF.
She was a clinger.
Yeah.
Saying.
She was just DTF. And he's like, okay, I dropped my eggs and you dropped my eggs.
Bro.
And now I'm on to other stuff.
Summer, DTF.
I'm on to other stuff.
I'm doing other things. I'm killing this stupid sheriff. I'm getting hit by a car. I cannot.
And she's really struggling to find any more bog dick.
Right.
Because there's only so many prospects in the bog.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you guys are helping me set up I'm actually setting up my Tinder as I'm writing this.
There's just not a lot of available adults in the bog.
I'm looking for that bog dick.
Bog dick only. Must be into algaes and mosses.
Mosses, at least, you know.
Green slime must be covered in green slime.
Do you want the things I like to do is have picnics in moss. Is that what you're into?
Yeah.
We'll eat charcuterie and
long swims on the bottom of the bog. Dr. Brad, now we're spiraling towards the finish. Dr. Brad is now the Dr. Loomis of this town. He's just ordering cops around, and they're just, doing whatever he says. They find, the creature comes and steals Ginny and burns the place down, and they find her shoe, and that means that the monster has her. Like, they just go, oh, that must mean the monster has her. So the monster up until this point has mostly been a silhouette, except for during the time where they spray him down, and they're talking about infusing her, which we talked about, which is a tough proposition. It's basically them, they're worried that she's going to get drank like a Capri Sun. And
no, they were worried that she was going to get impregnated next.
Yes,
Yeah.
which what they kind of explained about the bog hag is that they drink her like a Capri Sun and then fill her up with its own blood. And that makes it compatible for mating.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dr. Brad and the ichthyologists are just driving aimlessly along country roads, and they spot a little bit of goo on a log driving 50 miles an hour on a back road with 100-year-old eyes. And they're like, that must be where it is. And of course, they're right. And then I noted at this point that the growling intensifies, and it's basically one step up from Suburban Sasquatch.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
I really
it's a slightly longer loop.
I want to figure out how to get that job. I think I could do a good like growling noise. I like, and, like I can have ranges here, guys. Like I can do it. But like, yeah, no, I think I can do a good job. I just want to get paid. So TM, if anyone just heard that, do not record
send
it.
us in your best monster noise.
Please.
Send us. Yes, this is actually a very fun idea. Go into the voice memo app on your phone. Record a monster growling noise. Send us to our DMs. And I will listen to it very stoned and chuckle to myself. So, yeah, you get this horribly shaky jump cut scene where Dr. Brad is kind of just basically grappling with the monster, and then they crush it with a car. And then there is a voiceover with a grainy shots of the eggs, and it's, the end question mark.
I feel like there's a lot of theme about eggs, though, when it comes to fishy things, because we had the piranha. I even bring it out to alien, and there's always fishy shit. They're kind of alien fishy stuff. Are fish aliens, you guys think?
Yeah. Well, because the water is like space. Water is the space of the Earth.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
For
we
sure.
know more about space than we do about the deepest depths of the oceans.
That's true.
Thank you, Brian.
In search of starring one Mr. Leonard Nimoy.
Are we done with this stupid fucking movie?
Yeah, guys, cherish it. So
in ways though, I felt like it had everything. It had horror, it had slime, it had love, it had old people fucking, it had so many things that I wanted to but at the end of the day, I would rather gouge my eyes out and watch that again.
It's made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me
What
scared.
Were you crying
horny.
because? Oh yeah, definitely horny for sure.
Yeah, all at the same time. I was laughing. I was scared. I was horny. Like it just always happened simultaneously for me. It was a whirlwind of emotions.
Man, yeah, I'm just amazed how much you can express your emotions.
And then Brian threw up on his dick.
And then fast forward to me waking up, and I have puked on my dick.
He takes out some ribs so he can actually puke on his dick better.
Welcome to Sunday morning at my house. Wake up, puke over dick.
Why? This show is going off the rails, guys.
Bog.
Quotation marks.
Here. We're here, guys. We've bogged.
Question marks. So let's end the show
That's
with just
when
question
you do.
marks.
Actually, that should be it. That should be a euphemism for when you do something really gross, like that, during something highly disgusting. You bog. Fuck! I bogged.
I really bogged it up.
I'm here for that. I'm cool
I bogged
using
it up last night.
But hey, no. Actually, let's take this back because if we're doing bog hag summer, that's kind of assuming that I'm making a lot of bad decisions all summer.
Yeah.
And,
You're drinking Bush Red Apple. That's bogging.
You're bogging. That's bogging. It's like that. What's that old shitty country music? It's like, be stroking.
Oh God,
that song. But it's
what?
Be bogging.
Is that an Alan Jackson song?
No, it's not an Alan Jackson song.
I'm gonna go to the Chattahoochee. That's where I'm going.
Living that bog life. It's like the watermelon crawl of Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, bog life.
We'd be bogging. Living that bog life. Guys, that's it. Go watch Bog. It's 100% worth it. You can fast forward through 90% of it. Just make sure you don't miss the Dracula quotes. If you're in the mood for some geriatric necking. That's there.
I think
got
it's
a lot
like
of
good for
things.
me to actually cut you off and jump in and say, hey guys, don't watch the movie. If you love your life,
It's
I
free.
mean, just live a bog hag summer.
Yep.
Tubi has a lot of great stuff on it.
Mhm.
Let's Father, Son, Holy Spirit to Tubi. But better movies
I mean,
than this one.
this is one of those times where I would say, in general, I think you should watch the movies before you listen to the show. Same time. Just run this at the same time as
You
the
just
movie.
said this at the end of the show, you motherfucker.
Yeah, you're gonna notice it.
You literally just said this at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Better yet, just go on YouTube and watch the episode of Red Letter Media, whatever that episode is where they talk about bog. You get all the best parts of bog in there.
Yeah.
They get all the best parts of bog in there. But you guys deserve it. You've paid for your insolence. And I think bog has done its bogly duties.
Yeah.
Here.
Like I said, it was like being
for the
sent to
punishment
the
episode.
penalty box. And now we're out of the penalty box. And we're going to scrap.
No, I'm going to go pull.
We're gonna fucking drop gloves.
I'm going to go pull a Peggy Hill and play Boggle after this. Like, it's going to be good.
That's what you need. Official game of Bog Hag Summer.
Megan's just
There's so
transforming
many
your life
puns,
into all
guys.
things
There's
bog.
so many good. There's so many good puns today. It's
Yeah.
so perfect.
Yep.
I just want to be done talking about this movie and just go live my bog hag summer.
I'm just going to
about
start
go
calling you
do
Wade
that.
Boggs.
I will perpetually have a shirt on where I'm constantly like writing how
Putting
many
the-
beers I've drinking, but it's like for my entire life.
But it's not just beers. It's specifically Bush Apple.
It's
bog.
specifically Bush
Wade
Apple
Boggs.
or actually how many times I've had sex in 1 month or something like that.
with a giant blood-sucking Dracula fish.
I like to
Man,
think it's
you've done that a lot, dude.
it's actually a cumulative of sex and bush red apple and just sleeping in moss. It's just all of
hey
it, just
guys,
all bog
but you
behavior.
will never know which is which. I could also do no. Why? Show needs to be done. I need to...
Hashtag Bog Hag Summer, you guys. Go check us out on the social medias. As always, we'll post some clips. We'll post some updates of how Bog Hag Summer's going. And
Keep you guys updated.
Also, we're gonna have like professional people on as guests. And we'll get their take on Bog Hag Summer. See how they're living their best Bog Hag life. Yeah.
We really have to do it. We have to ask.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
We
I'm
have
gonna
to.
just completely make a fool of us in front of professional
Also,
directors
yeah,
and
just to
musicians
remind
and
everyone
things like
to
that.
also watch us make a fool of ourselves in public, live, recorded, where we can't take anything back or edit a lot out, where people already hear it on June 25th at Hop Farm Brewing Company
Yeah.
from 7 to 10
What is
o'clock.
can we like rescind things live, or do we just have to like just hit people in the head with a brick so they forget what we talk
Yeah.
about?
No, it's a Men in Black thing. We'll have one of those pens. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it is literally just breaking a glass jar that says ether on it, as if we were a 1940s cartoon and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
We're just
also
gonna have to
if-
poison everyone there, like they just can't
Yeah.
leave. Yeah.
Pretty much, if we fuck up, we're gonna lock everyone in the room and no one can leave.
And burn it place down. It's gonna be like Jonestown. Yeah, we're just gonna come and have just corpses.
Remember,
everywhere.
again, that's why we're sniffing glue. We have the glue sniffing table so people will
Yeah.
not remember.
Yes, true. We're gonna kill our brains before the show.
Oh my god!
Come check us out, guys. June
Bog
25th.
Hag Summer
Come see it.
2022.
Come check us out. See what's going on. See how Bog Hag Summer's progressing at that point. Anything else? Anything else for forgetting? Come check us out on our next episode, or potentially the episode after that, where we have a real life professional director of Sadness on, and we get him weighing in on Bog Hag Summer. Yeah, that's it, guys. For the Halloween's
are
Forever
done.
crew, I am Brian.
I'm the Bog Hag Queen. What up? Hit me up in the DMs.
I'm Steve.
I'm Steve. No, he's just Steve. Are you a underwater Dracula? Hit me up. Bog Hag Summer.
ASL, you already know the L, bog.
Guys, I'm 30 or 40.
Bye.